Tom Cruise, one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. A man whose name alone can fill theaters, whose daredevil stunts and magnetic charm have captivated millions for decades. But behind the flashing cameras and box office glory lies a story far darker, far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. A story tangled deeply with one of the most secretive and controversial organizations in the world, the Church of Scientology. This is not just a tale about fame or fortune. For Tom Cruise, Scientology is a force that has defined his life, shaping his relationships, steering his career, and ultimately challenging his very freedom. What you're about to hear is the hidden narrative behind the star, the story of a man caught between superstardom, faith, and the iron grip of a church accused of controlling everything in its path. But this story goes far beyond the bright lights and red carpets. It reaches into the heart of a family torn apart, a man trapped in a web he helped weave. In the early 2000s, while Tom fought to retain custody of his two children from a previous marriage, Bella and Connor, the Church of Scientology was coming under a storm like never before. Former members were breaking their silence, critics sharpened their knives, and the media began peeling back the layers of secrecy. For many, it was becoming clear that Scientology was no ordinary religion. It was a manipulative machine wielding secrecy and intimidation to control its followers. And because Tom Cruise is arguably the most famous Scientologist on the planet, anything involving him instantly sparked intense scrutiny. Footage of his lavish 42nd birthday celebration on a massive cruise ship exploded online, revealing a side of celebrity life few get to witness. His speeches, peppered with obscure Scientology language, often confused outsiders, hinting at a worldview that felt inaccessible, even unsettling. Slowly, the church's carefully crafted image started to crack. But the cracks were just the beginning. What happened next would change everything. One video in particular became a cultural flashpoint. A 9-minute promotional clip showed Tom ranting passionately about Scientology, while the iconic Mission Impossible theme thundered behind him. But the words? Vague, circular, empty. Observers saw something chilling, a hollow intensity, eyes searching for meaning in a cloud of ambiguous slogans. It wasn't inspiring. It was baffling. And for many, it symbolized the church's unraveling grip on public trust. The fallout was swift. What once was a mysterious, almost exotic faith became the subject of ridicule and scorn. Scientology was mocked relentlessly, its beliefs twisted into jokes and memes across the internet. Late-night hosts made it their punchline. Even the satirical powerhouse South Park dedicated an entire episode to exposing Scientology's bizarre and often disturbing doctrines to millions worldwide.
This wasn't just entertainment. It was an exposé that cut to the core of a secretive world few had ever dared to enter. According to Scientology's secretive lore, it all began 75 million years ago. The Galactic Federation of Planets, led by the tyrannical Lord Xenu, faced overpopulation. Their solution? Imprison billions of alien souls, freeze their bodies, and dump them into volcanoes here on Earth. The trapped souls, confused and restless, now haunt humanity, causing spiritual chaos. To protect against their return, the church claims to use soul catchers, brainwashing devices designed to control these wandering spirits. This science fiction narrative, once locked deep inside church vaults, leaked to the public and shattered the church's credibility further. Attempts to silence critics, like South Park's creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker, failed spectacularly. No threat, no lawsuit could stop them from shining a light on Scientology's darkest corners. Yet, for Tom Cruise, Scientology isn't just a bizarre story. It's a guiding force that controls how he sees the world. Tom Cruise's ties to Scientology extend beyond just belief. They've shaped his very views on mental health and medicine. Publicly, he attacked actress Brooke Shields for taking antidepressants after childbirth, denouncing psychiatry as a pseudoscience. He claimed that drugs only mask problems instead of curing them, advocating instead for spiritual healing offered by Scientology. This stance ignited fierce backlash. While many agree that psychiatric drugs are sometimes overprescribed, millions insist mental health issues are real illnesses that demand professional care.
Tom's vocal rejection of psychiatry raised uncomfortable questions. How much of his personal beliefs are truly his own? And how much are the echoes of a church intent on controlling minds and bodies? But the influence of Scientology on Tom's life runs deeper still, into the heart of his most private relationships. Then there's Katie Holmes. Their marriage, beginning in 2006, was not just a love story, but a chapter deeply colored by Scientology's influence. Katie, raised Catholic, converted after Tom introduced her to the church. But many believe her conversion was less about faith and more about control. Soon after marrying Tom, Katie's management team was replaced with church-connected figures. Her career choices came under the church's watchful eye, and when it came to their daughter Suri, Scientology's grip tightened even more. Tom insisted that Katie's labor be conducted in near silence, based on the church's belief in engrams, traumatic memories that could imprint negative energy on a newborn. Rumors swirled that Suri was expected to eventually join the Sea Org, Scientology's secretive order notorious for brutal working conditions.
Fearing for her daughter's future, Katie secretly began plotting her escape, communicating with lawyers via burner phones, taking extreme precautions. When she finally blindsided Tom by filing for divorce and fleeing to New York, Scientology members allegedly tracked her every move, sparking fears the church might abduct Suri. Katie even called the police on more than one occasion. What unfolded next was a battle not just for custody, but for freedom itself. After the divorce, Katie severed all ties with Scientology, enrolling Suri in a Catholic private school. Tom, meanwhile, agreed to pay an astonishing $400,000 a year in child support, but hasn't seen Suri in over a decade. This family fracture lays bare the harsh reality. Scientology's reach can break even the closest bonds. To many, it's a belief system so controlling and extreme that it threatens to destroy what matters most. But Tom Cruise continues to defend the church, insisting it saved his life and made him who he is. For Tom Cruise, Scientology is portrayed as a source of strength, a guiding light that helped him overcome obstacles and realize his dreams. Yet, this spiritual path demands massive financial investments from followers, raising doubt about whether its promises are truly heartfelt or just a business masquerading as faith. Former Scientologists paint a far darker picture. They describe Tom as a well-meaning but naive man, someone who enjoys the church's lavish perks without questioning the hidden costs. Luxury cars, high-end sound systems, personal staff, all reportedly supplied by a church that uses forced labor from the Sea Org, a group repeatedly accused of human trafficking and abuse. The church denies all these accusations, dismissing them as absurd lies. But the testimonies from ex-members and investigative journalists tell a disturbing story, one that implicates Tom Cruise as both a beneficiary and perhaps a prisoner of this powerful institution. So where does that leave Tom Cruise? Is he a victim trapped by an all-consuming organization, or a willing participant who turns a blind eye to the suffering around him? Some believe one day he will break free, claiming he was brainwashed, distancing himself from Scientology's darkest shadows. Whatever the truth may be, his story forces us to confront difficult questions about fame, faith, and freedom. It challenges the illusion that celebrity grants true autonomy. For Tom Cruise, his life is far more tangled in the church's web than anyone ever imagined. And as you watch him defy death on screen, remember, behind the stuntman's fearless smile lies a man whose greatest challenge may not be a high fall or explosive stunt, but escaping a shadow that refuses to let go. This is the truth behind the star, and it may never be fully told.
Thank you for watching and joining us as we uncover the stories behind the headlines, the truths often left in the shadows. If this video gave you something to think about, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next deep dive into the lives of the world's most fascinating figures. If you want to keep exploring, check out the video on the screen. It's another story you won't want to miss. Until next time, stay curious and remember, there's always more beneath the surface.